microscope. He studied the one that was full of negative words. He looks at it. He can't really figure out what's going on there. There's no rhyme or reason for anything. It's just a bunch of squiggly lines that don't connect, and it's just a big disarray. Then he puts the water from the glass with the positive words under the microscope. And what does he see but beautiful crystals? Crystal-like structures, little snowflake-like structures. Everyone different, everyone unique, everyone beautiful. And it was just, cool to look at. Now this, I'm also not making up. I mean, you can Google Dr. Emoto water crystal therapy or something like that, and you'll find all his research on that. But I thought that was pretty cool because that relates to humans as well. I mean, that same energy that went into the water can be passed along with humans as well. So when I started to learn things like that and surround myself by good people, and I started to get a little more inspired. I started to skate again. I started to feel better. I started to just look at what do I have instead of focusing on what don't I have, like feeling in my leg, or the same legs that I had when I was 15 and on the top of the world in speed skating. I focused on what I do have, and I do have wonderful friends. I do have wonderful family. I do have the ability. I have a body and a mind. I have the ability to recover from this relapse, which is amazing. I have incredible mentors to coach me along the way, and I have absolutely a great life. So what am I complaining about? And I thought, so every morning I would wake up, I would read inspirational quotes, I would think about what I do have that I love, I would call a friend that I loved, and I would just focus on the bright side, I guess. Later on in that year, come time for the MS Bike Tour in Calgary this time, I said, I just whispered to a couple of my friends at the Oval, I'm like, hey, you know what, I think I'm going to raise some money at the MS Bike Tour this year. So I tell a couple of my friends that I'm gonna participate, and they're like, you should join a team. I'll be on your team. I was like, okay. And I was like, great, I'm gonna have probably a team of 5, and we're gonna raise, maybe $1,000, and the money will go towards MS. Great. That's a good start. Later did I know, I sign up a team on the MS Bike Tour. Soon enough, I have 88 members, the second largest team in North America in the MS Bike Tour. Basically, all of the speed skaters found out about it, and it's hard when you don't really know how to help someone when they can't. They're dealing with something with no cure, and it's hard to deal with it. But this was an opportunity that everyone just seemed to jump on. All my friends and family and mentors and coworkers just jumped on this idea and supported me and joined my team in the MS Bike Tour, and I think we ended up raising $67,000 just in that year alone. So we're the second largest team in North America and raised $67,000. And that all happened, I think, within a month. So that was pretty cool, and I was like, you know what? After that, I was on such a high. I was vibrating so high. I was so happy. I was on top of the world again. That same feeling that I got when I got my first national team jacket. And I'm like, wow, this is how I like feeling. This is the kind of stuff that I need to be doing and people that I need to be surrounding myself with. So I started to focus on that and went and skated again, and felt a little bit better, and was trying to be a little more patient with my body, and not get frustrated if I fell, not get frustrated if my time wasn't the same as when I was 16 years old. I continued on for that. I think I went 4 or 5 years with not a single personal best time. Who here can imagine 5 years from now skating the same times that I'm skating right now? It'd be pretty frustrating, eh? Yeah. So instead of looking at it that way, I just took it day by day, and I tried to look at the little things that helped me along the way, and I just focused on this race, and if it didn't go well, I would talk to my coach, talk to myself, see what was going on, and I would try and improve myself and improve and improve and improve. It wasn't until a couple of years ago, after not breaking a PB for 5 years, that I finally broke my first PB from when I was 16 years old. I'm now 24. So it was a pretty frustrating journey, but at the same time it wasn't, because I had such a positive energy from my friends. I mean, I continued with the MS Bike Tour year after year. This past year was my 5th year. We've raised over $250,000, and I've sort of used that energy as my therapy. Now, I also realized, I have to be serious. I mean, skating came so easily for me as a kid. I was just one of those lucky kids who was built to be an athlete, and I just naturally grew a lot of muscle and was fast. And, results came easily for me. And I shouldn't say easily, but definitely I didn't have to work really, really hard to, have the success that I did. At least not as hard as I do now. So now I was like, okay, there's got to be other things that I need to do. So I started to study nutrition. It was always sort of an interest of mine. And I found a school called the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. And I trained all day, would work part-time at ING in marketing, and then I would take night classes in natural nutrition, and I studied. And I tried every diet in the book. At one point I was pretty much a bird, just eating bird food and fruit and seeds and nuts, and that's about it. I had all these regulations, and yeah, it was okay, but I needed a little more balance, and I started to see a sports psychologist and talk to him and try and practice these feelings and emotions that I wanted to feel. Now, an interesting email I got was, do you guys know the skater Kevin Crockett?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's on the big poster over there, and he's an Olympic bronze medalist, and he was my coach. And he sent me an email one day when I had some symptoms and I couldn't skate for, I think it was about a month. I was off right in the middle of the season. I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do? And I just sort of sat there and felt useless, like there's nothing I can do proactive, and I can eat healthy and stuff, but there's got to be something else I can do that's more speed skating specific. So he sends me this email and he says, have you ever heard about the study with the basketball team? I said, no. He said, okay, so there's this study. They took 2 basketball teams. The one basketball team shot hoops, hours on end, every single day for 2 weeks. Shot hoops, same shot, over and over and over again. The next team just sat there and visualized shooting hoops over and over and over again, over and over and over again. They didn't even touch a basketball for 2 weeks. Maybe they would do a little hand action, but that was it. They later, 2 weeks later, come together and they do a shoot-off, for lack of better words. Guess which team dominated?
The one that did the imaginary thing?
Yeah, you bet. So the one that did the visualization. So I said, that's pretty cool. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. And I practiced it. So for that month, when I thought I could do nothing for speed skating, there was something I could do. So I set a time every day, just like you do at practice, just like you come to training from 9 till 11 every morning. I set a time, 9 till 11, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to practice visualizing. I actually made the mistake of doing it at night, and before I knew it, it was morning, and I woke up and I'm like, did I visualize or did I just fall asleep? And I kept doing that and doing that. I'm like, this is great, it puts me right to sleep. But then I was like, no, you know what, I'm not really practicing it, am I? And why am I falling asleep? Is it because I'm bored? But actually, it's not. Or at least I don't think it is, because I've also heard studies about people who visualize. They would study their muscles, and the same muscles fire when you're just visualizing as the muscles that you use when you're actually racing. So that goes to show that your body's actually working pretty hard when you're just visualizing. It's amazing the physical effect that you have from the mental side of things. Who here has ever experienced, you watch a sad movie, or you read an inspirational quote or hear a good story and your arm goes all goosebumps. Get a bunch of goosebumps. Everyone's experienced that?